Welcome along to the Bet Zone here, the BoyleSports Betzone with me, Nigel Seeley. I'm delighted to say, join us to look ahead some massive games in the Premier League, both at the top and the bottom, is former Tottenham and Wimbledon defender and friend of the show, Chris Perry. Good morning, Chris.
Morning, Nigel.
Sixth form college?
I'm going this afternoon, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What are you doing? What retakes are you doing? Retakes?
I'm retaking my English. I wasn't too good, you know.
Well, there you go. Good luck with that one. Let's have a look at some football, though, rather than Chris's educational problems. Then let's look at Manchester City against West Brom. It's the first game this week. It's 12:45 on BT Sport. Manchester City obviously bowed out of the Champions League in midweek. Joe Hart performing heroics. And ahead in this game, the manager, Manuel Pellegrini, under a bit of pressure.
He is under a little bit of pressure. I think he'll probably go at the end of the season, whatever happens. That's my understanding of the situation.
Who's going to take over?
Who knows? They can attract anyone with the amount of money they got and the size of the club and the players they got. They could attract anyone, but they will win this game. It doesn't matter how much pressure he's under or what's happened in the past. They will win this game. West Brom have never won at the Etihad. 7 visits they've had there. They've never won. City unbeaten in their last 10 against West Brom. I just don't see it going any other way.
Yeah, unbeaten last 10, as Chris said, but they've won 9 and 1 draw, and they're one of the shortest price on the BoyleSports coupons this weekend. 10 to 3 on, 130 on, whichever one you want to say it. £10 wins you 3, £100 if you spec like Chris with the suits there. £100 wins you 30. West Brom, though, I mean, they haven't conceded many goals. You know, the thing is here, the interesting one for me is the double bubble, and I'll tell you why. West Brom have conceded more goals inside the first 15 minutes than any other team, and last season, I think it's the last 4 goals City have scored against them have been inside in the first 10 minutes.
Well, there you go. Get on the first goal scorer. A great chance for double bubble. Aguero has got 4 in his last 5 Premier League games against. 4 in 4 starts against West Brom. So I mean, he's the one to go for if you're going to go for it. Aguero, first goal scorer, is 11 to 4. Double bubble, very, very nice indeed.
Yeah, double bubble will just pay you under 6 to 1 on that. And just remember, if your goal scorer, your winning goal scorer, scores in 5 to the first 20 minutes in any game in the Premier League this weekend, BoyleSports will double the odds on your winning selections. Very easy for me to say. It was 3-1 earlier in the season for Man City, and it was 3-1 in this fixture last year. 10 to 1 about that one?
It was. No, I'm not going to go. I fancy City to win this to 0. West Brom don't score many goals away from home. They've only won 1 of their last 9 away Premier League games. They keep clean sheets at home, but their away form's terrible. I fancy City to win this to 0. Joe Hart in excellent form. Obviously had a great performance in the week. City win to 0, 23 to 20.
City to win to 0. Joe Hart's saving all the penalty shots from Messi, Neymar, Suarez. I can't see the West Brom forwards troubling him in that one either. So it's to win to 0 for Chris. I haven't got a bet on this. I have got a treble, which I'll come on to a bit later, but no bet for me in this game. But I do think Man City will win. And I think if you're playing on the accumulators, 10 to 3 on, get on Man City in all your accumulators this weekend. Okay, probably not a great game. We're going to expect 5:30. The Bowling Ground, West Ham entertained Sunderland team absolutely in turmoil. Dick Advocaat in charge in his first game at West Ham, but they do have a good record against the Hammers.
Do they?
Yes.
Do they really? It's not what I've been looking at.
Well, they do. They have only lost once in their last 7 games.
West Ham have only lost 3 out of 14 home games against Sunderland.
But in the last 7 matches, Sunderland have only lost once against West Ham. Lots of draws.
Well, what you're
lots
saying
of draws.
Lots of draws. But is that good? Is that a good record? I don't think that's a great record.
A good record is wake me up before you go, guys. There is no doubt on that one. But I tell you what, that's not bad. I mean, and what do you expect? I think it's going to be an awful affair.
I don't expect it to be too great to watch. I don't expect there to be too many goals, but I do fancy West Ham to nick it. West Ham at 5 to 6 is a decent price, and I do fancy West Ham and under 2.5 goals at 3 to 1 to be half decent bet.
I like the under 2.5 goals. I don't know about the West Ham because it depends on what stat you look at. West Ham don't have a good record. They do have a good record. I'm saying they don't. Both teams are in bad form. They've only won once in their last 12 matches, the pair of them, and surprisingly, Sam Allardyce is heavily linked for Sunderland next season. Yeah,
I suppose you know what he does. He goes to a team, he stabilises them, he keeps them in the division. That's what he does. I mean, he doesn't do anything else. He doesn't get you into Europe, really. He doesn't go and win anything, but he will keep you in the division. But they have to start this year, and that's going to be the problem for them.
The goals are dried up for both sides. Defoe is the man to score the goals against his former club. He's 13 to 2 to score the first goal here. He scored 4 goals in his last 5 matches against West Ham. What do you make of Defoe?
I'm not sure about him. I think he's an excellent striker, but I just don't think Sunderland create enough chances for him.
Okay, it was at 1-1 earlier in the season. It was 1-1 last season in this fixture here. Under 2.5 goals here at 3-4 is my banker bet on the Premier League this weekend, and it's part of my treble, which is enhanced by BoyleSports, where I'll come on later. What did you bet here?
My bet here is West Ham to win 0 at 2-1.
Another West Ham to win 0. Chris likes those. I think this could be 0-0 either, a draw, and I wouldn't like to back West Ham to win. But I think under 2.5 goals, definitely the best way to play. Move on to Sunday now, the biggest game in the Premier League this weekend. It's the clash at Anfield between two fierce enemies, Liverpool and Manchester United. And this game takes on a huge intensity, extra pressure as well, with the race for 4th place. Both these sides always popular BoyleSports punters. Who wins this one?
It's a tough one. If you look at the form, both sides come into it in great form, really. You know, United have only lost one of their last 8 Premier League games and one of their last 9 away Premier League games. Liverpool haven't lost since they lost to United in December in the Premier League. It's a difficult one to pick, but I just fancy with home advantage. I think Liverpool might nick it, and at 11-10, I think that's a great bet.
11-10 for Liverpool for Chris there. Both these sides coming into this game in slightly contrasting form. Manchester United was superb against Tottenham. Admittedly, your former club were awful, but Liverpool very average against Swansea, weren't they?
They were average, but they found a way to win, you know, and that's what they've been doing recently. They've been coming up with goals from all over the pitch. The forwards really aren't firing, but Coutinho's popped up with goals. Henderson's been on fire recently, you know. Lallana's popping up with goals. I think they've got goals throughout them on the pitch. Steven Gerrard actually has got a fantastic record in this fixture, 7 in his last 11, but I don't think he'll start.
No, Steven Gerrard won't start, in my opinion, either. Jordan Henderson's been the captain, and when he's worn that captain armband for Liverpool, they haven't lost the game.
Really? Is that true? That's a fantastic stat. I like that. And he's sort of putting himself in the frame for next season, isn't he? Very much so.
Not only for Liverpool, but I think he'd be a future England captain as well. Last 4 matches between these two sides, both teams have failed to score. I expect it to be quite tight.
Really? See,
yeah.
I'm going the other. I'm going over 2.5 goals on this one. I'm going Liverpool to win 2-1, 15-2. 15-2
for Liverpool, 2-1. I'm totally disagreeing with Chris. I think 1 goal will win it, maybe 2 at max. And I think that will come from one side, probably Liverpool here. I'm going for both teams not to score at 11-10. It's the second part of my enhanced treble this weekend, which is available now on the BoyleSports website. Okay, the final game, 4 o'clock, Hull against Chelsea. I looked at this match and I thought, you know what, this could be a good time to take on Chelsea. 4-9 favourites away from home. Then I looked at the stats. Hull have never beaten Chelsea in their 11 previous meetings.
Absolutely not.
Will it end here?
No, it won't.
Right.
Hull have picked up only 5 points from teams in the top 10 this season. The whole season they've picked up only 5 points. And
the whole season or the whole?
The whole season.
The whole season for Hull or the whole season?
Whole season.
Whole.
Yeah.
They're in a bit of a hole.
They are in a bit of a hole.
Okay.
Only 2 of those have come at home. So they've only got 2 draws at home against teams from the top 10. I can't see them doing anything. Chelsea will go and win this game. I expect it to be fairly dull, boring game. Chelsea will probably win it 2-0.
2-0 is a very common score. It's 2-0 in the season at Stamford Bridge. It was 2-0 last season in both the games, and 2-0 again is 5-1 this weekend with BoyleSports, and I think that's a decent bet as well. But the best bet for me, Chris, is a Chelsea to win to 0.
Chelsea wins
23-20. What about that?
That's something I've got written down. Absolutely, I can't see Hull scoring goals. They don't score many goals anyway. Chelsea don't concede too many. For me, Eden Hazard's got 2 in his last 2 against Hull. I fancy him first goal scorer 4-1. Get on him double bubble.
Yeah, double bubble. Remember that if Hazard scores inside the opening 20 minutes, BoyleSports will double that 4-1 into 8-1, and that applies to every single Premier League game this weekend. Not only Hazard, Remy's got a great record, Drogba's got a great record. I expect changes from the for Chelsea in this game. 1-1 last game against Southampton. They did play well, but if you look at this game, it's all about to win to 0. Chelsea have played Hull 7 times in the Premier League. They've won 5 of them, and 4 of them 1-0. Similar thing here.
Yeah, I agree. I think. My banker of the week is Chelsea to win 2-0 here.
Chelsea to win 2-0 for Chris. Of all the greatest games we've got, Liverpool, Man Utd, we're talking about bankers with not many goals. Chris's banker is Chelsea to win 2-0 at 23-20. My banker is under 2.5 goals at 3-4. And my treble this weekend in the Premier League with BoyleSports is under 2.5 goals at 3-4. West Ham v Sunderland. Both teams to score no in Liverpool, Man United, and Chelsea to win 2-0 at 23-10, which shows friendly boys at Boyles and girls at BoyleSports will round up to a lovely 8-1 treble. What you got planned for the weekend, Chris? Anything?
Not really, no. I've got a nice quiet weekend.
Okay, that's always riveting stuff in the Perry household. We'll see you all same time next week.